There. Get the... Why do they name them so similar? This is a terrible stream now. Rev 4, 4Runner, I know. Damn it. Muted. Gah! That's how this goes. That's my week. Actually, it was a really good week. I'm just tired, but I was like, cool. Everything's all set up. Everything's working. No issues. You're muted. You titled the car wrong. What is this, amateur hour? We got a 4Runner. It says right here. And it's shiny. That's what I was saying. It's very shiny. We're doing ceramic. It's 20%. I can't help it if my computer just decides to randomly change settings. No, he's proud of it. You kidding? This is his second card being here. It's always been kind of a humorous thing. I kind of want to get a Detroit Tint Studio thing to put over. But at the same time, who cares? You're driving around with your tag exposed. People can look up your tag anytime. So what does it matter? Quick question before you start. Having trouble shrinking the front windshield tint when the windshield is ceramic coated? Ooh, that's a good question. To be honest, I don't have a good answer for you because I honestly haven't really run into that very much. Or if I have, I just used a thick layer of dryer sheet and I never even noticed. Are you going to use the pre-cuts or will you be hand cutting? For all the doors, we're going to be hand cutting. On the quarter windows, depends on how the stream goes. Maybe we'll hand cut them. Maybe we'll, especially these rear quarters, these ones are always nice to like plotter cut. These ones, right there. No, it's just kind of a funny topic. Customer tags. I see some people blocking them, but I don't think it's ever really mattered. Do you sell pre-cuts? No. No, there's so many people that do that. Tint Zoom was, if you want like good GeoShield kits, you can get them from there. I'm not in charge of that though. I have a Tundra. How hard is it to do the windshield on those trucks? Not super hard. Tundras are pretty straightforward as far as most windshield goes. So if you've ever shrunk a windshield, you'll be fine with the Tundra. All right, let's put that in there. We're gonna get this on. Yeah, the rear window in contrast is going to be annoying because this slides up and down. I know it's the 4Runner, but I always forget until it gets in here. I'm like, is it the 4Runner? Because I do Toyotas, but I don't do like that many Toyotas. So I've had, handful of Tundras, handful of this, handful of that. My God. See, why does it do that? It's just like, woo, woo, woo. Fun. Wasn't sure about them. Do you recommend them? Yeah, they're actually recommended by GeoShield, too. They know, they're not just a random... They're I think they're a pretty busy tint shop, the people that run them. Pretty busy tint shop out of Florida. And... they had a lot of different softwares. So one thing with pre-cut kits is you're going to want to order them from a shop that actually tints cars because then they know how to modify patterns for the most part. They also use more than one software too. So They're one of your best bets. Thanks for your helpful videos. I found using tape on window seals. I found using tape on the window seals helps heaps with felt ones. We don't have seal guard here in Australia. Nice. There's a number of other things that kind of work. They were generally more expensive though. House wrap tapes. That's how we came out with seal guard. Was we found house wrap tapes were awesome, but they're expensive. Been thinking about getting into tinting. Found your videos. Thanks for all the knowledge you share. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. I have a Ram 2002. Need help with the back door. Like it rolls down, shows a gap. All right. I don't have one here that I can show you, but I can give you some ideas. Okay, so that's on. Yeah, see, this is what's weird about, hang on, it's gonna go quiet for a second. Should be that, okay. Yeah, see, this is what's really annoying about Windows, is every once in a while, Windows does an update, and then it completely resets all my audio settings. And I don't change it at all, and then I have to remember what I did to set it back. Tinting a full Malibu? Nice. I'm jealous. I want to swap. I want to do the Malibu. Okay, so on older trucks and SUVs, not this one's brand friggin' new, but what you'll see is a curvy back area, and they'll do that on the front doors too. So like one side will go straight up and down, and the other side still goes straight up and down, but it's got this curve. So what you want to do is you want to cut up to where that curve starts to bend out. So really, you're only going to cut like from here down to the bottom, like just like some of the side or just a little bit here. So cut your long side, shift it over, cut this side, shift it back, and then this is basically your side edge. Shift it back over, tack it in place, roll it down, and then you're gonna have to cut all the exposed area all the way around. That's gonna be your top edge, and then take that piece off, move it somewhere like glassboard or something, and then you're gonna connect from where that curve starts, and just gonna kind of guesstimate where that round is, and then it'll turn out good. This is a nice color, isn't it? I don't even know how to describe them. Like, they're like not your average everyday color, but they're still glossy. They look nice. Like I've seen, like, who is that? Ford and like Chrysler did like a gray. I don't know whatever these tones are, but yeah, they're really nice. Do you remove the panel from the rear glass? No, but you would be smart to do it. I call it milky gray. That's a good one. The film trainer. Thank you. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate you. It's good to have you here, man. Been busy? I'm starting to see a lot more phone calls. A lot more phone calls, a lot more business. And then we just had a class. So that went really, really well, and I'm very happy that it is over with. Because I am tired. It was a lot of fun. Everybody did such a good job, though. There we go. Where's my... let me take this off of here. Lexon, what are your thoughts on it? Kind of want to try tinting. Those are a bit more affordable prices. Yeah, you're going to want to get... like, I do not recommend at all. But if you're going to get the more expensive versions of all of them. Reason being is the cheap ones have a lot of haze and they don't shrink very easily. Come on, there we go. Do you do the Model 3 windshield yet? Nope, not yet. Not the rear one. Yeah, I've been so busy with everything else. We'll get to the Model 3 rear windshield soon enough. I've been driving around with it not tinted. I just got a license plate for it. Not custom, though. But it did get a license plate for it. That's the latest with that car. There we go. Shop is looking good. Thank you. Yeah, it all got really cleaned up because of the class. We have to like shift a lot of things around, move tables. I love leaving it open, but inevitably we'll get another shipment in of stuff, and then it'll get all busy again. How hard it is an old Suburban? The older Suburbans are definitely going to be harder. You'll have an easier time on the newer Silverado. It's not that they're that bad. It's just like they're really tall, big windows, and older cars usually have like some little funky seals compared to the newer vehicles, which is a lot more stuff is very similar. Oh, no, I did that thing. I put it too high. When you're taping side seals, I generally avoid anywhere where it bends. Like, so this top bend here, I just kind of keep it shy of that. Tape starts falling back, getting in your way. Yuck. Come on. There we go. Do you need staff? Kinda. You bought a Tesla now? Yes. No. Yes and no. I have a Model 3, but it's a lease. It's also cheap. That's my favorite part about that thing. Dude, that car is like... I get so many compliments on that car. And then what's funny is just... It's the cheapest one. Like, it's cheaper than my Blazer, which I got, like, virtually no compliments on. So it's like, okay, this is cool. Kind of, like, I had a theory that when I was looking at them, I'm like, I can't even hardly tell a difference between them unless, like, I actually go through the trims and see what's what. But they're largely all very similar. Turns out that's true. Nobody really knows, except for the people that own them. And then the people that own them want them all to look different from one another. How do you like the part? How do you like the part where you have to charge it anytime when you're running low, so it can't find a charging station? No, because they don't have to drive it all that much. I literally, it's parked outside. I drive it from home to work. Sometimes we run some errands. I only have the mobile charger at my house. So I haven't, like, I was gonna call and get my house wired up for the better charger. I could go the entire lease without having to do that. It's not an issue. So we have an Explorer for, like, if we're gonna make any longer trips, stuff like that. But I just don't do a ton of driving. Not like I used to. So I'm like probably one of their ideal customers. They do have a portable charger, but the problem is the outlets. You just can't draw enough power. So off the mobile charger, you know, if you get to 65%, 70%, it says it'll take about 12 hours to charge. So that would be like a long time. If you're down to like 20%, you're going to need to get a faster charger if you're using it every day for work and stuff like that. But the thing does not just sit there and drain. Like, it would have to be doing something crazy to lose a lot of battery overnight, or just sitting out in a parking lot. So there's a couple little things like that. But yeah, like if this was my daily driver, I mean, it kind of is, but like I don't go far. But if I was doing like mobile tinting and running around and stuff in that, no, I'd need the faster charger at home. And yeah, for whatever reason it didn't charge overnight, that would be a huge hang up. So there's still hurdles to get over with that whole thing, but as far as the way that I use it, no, the thing's great. I never have to go to a gas station. I plug it in when I get back home. I don't have to plug it in every time, but I do. And it also is fun to plug in too, because there's a little button. There's a little button on the charger. So you walk up to it and you press the button on the charger and the door pops open. It's like, ha. It's always fun. Have you accidentally left the car on? No, see, there is no on or off. You just get in the car. And then when you get out of the car, it knows that you got out. So, like, we thought we were all cool with push button starters. There is no push button on that. It's literally, like, all automated. Standby. It doesn't drain. It's smart. It's very hands-off. You get in it. You put your foot on the brake, you push the stick down, you start driving. It's like a little golf cart. So, good times. Yeah, the other people that have driven it, the biggest complaint I think that I've heard is it's got regenerative braking. So then it does like a faster slowdown, but that's a setting that you can turn off if you don't want to use it. Used to work at a construction site for Austin. Oh, I just saw a video where like somebody was at an intersection in like Austin, and it was like just nothing but Teslas. There we go. So this thing's all set. And start cutting. Aren't they terrible for traveling? Well, yeah, if you're going to make long distance trips on them, they're not ideal. So what I'd say they're ideal for right now is if you are a 2-car family. You have one bigger family gas vehicle, and then you have an electric car if you want, or like a Tesla if you want to get it, but like, the point was actually not that it was electric. The point was just like, it's a nice car that was a cheap lease. And then it happened to be electric, and it's been fun. Yeah, if you're trying to take it across country, you're going to have an annoying time. It's going to add a long, the superchargers are still pretty fast, but you're still there for like 20 minutes. So it went from 20 or 15% to 75% the one time I had to use a supercharger in like 20 minutes. So like 20 minutes at a gas station would be super annoying. 20 minutes in that when it's planned isn't so bad, but if you're taking a road trip, yeah, that would drive me crazy. How's the AC? AC's good. I mean, all those components are run off electricity in regular cars anyways. It's just like instead of gas engines spinning belts, you have electrical systems. Okay, you don't have to deal with the anxiety. No, I would have gotten just a regular car if I drove a lot more. I wouldn't try and put that kind of pressure on a situation because if I was doing mobile tinting, again, would it be fun to have? Sure, but is it the best tool for the job? No. No, because there we go. A lot of people are complaining about the cheap feel of the interior. I mean, it doesn't feel worse or better than that. If anything, it's really nice. Maybe if you're spending $100,000 on like the Model S or the Model X, I could see that. The Model 3 and the Model Y are priced really competitively. So, I don't know. I don't have a problem with them. It's very simple, though. And that's by design. The whole idea is just like to make the build way easier and just simplify everything. I'd say they did a good job. They just take a lot of thinking out of it. I think if you just take it for what it is, like it's a nice car that happens to be electric, and if that fits in your life, then cool. And if it doesn't, then that's okay. Yeah, the seats are nice though, as far as like they're soft. Most GM seats are kind of stiff. Our Explorer has nice softer seats. Those Model 3 seats are on the softer side. I like that. It makes it just comfier. I hate the stiffer, sporty seats. Should I get another blade? I helped with the assembly line a couple of times. Nice. Does the film cut that easy? All the videos I seen, seems like you guys barely put any pressure or muscle into it. Well, if you use good blades, yeah. Yeah, like one of my students mentioned too, the way that it tears, which is nice because that's like what I think of too. Like, how does it tear? How does it cut? Most films cut easy enough, but the key to most of it is going to be just really sharp, nice blades, and then snapping those blades off often. So if I let this blade dull out, then it's not going to cut. You're constantly snapping off blades and retrimming stuff, or snapping off blades and then shifting that blade to like a new cut spot. So that cut right there, I'm only going to use the spot on that blade really one time. Then I'm going to move to another spot on the blade. Nice. Top edge cut scares me. Seems like the most difficult. Well, out of all the cuts, it kind of is. But if you get a nice blade and you just practice a handful of times, then you'll be good. This is also 2 layers of Pro Nano, so this is like 4 mils thick now instead of just 2. But yeah, top edge cuts. What I would suggest for practice is set it up, cut a top edge with one piece, and then what you're going to want to do is just shift it up, cut it again, shift it up, cut it again, and just keep doing that. It's a fast way to practice just over and over. Do some of that repetition. Another thing is, I like to cut on one side of the car when I can. So most of all my cutting is done on the passenger side. I double cut pretty much everything. And then I move it over, separate the pattern. So that way you keep like muscle memory kind of the same. That helps. Bring this over to the other side. How much film do we got? Good? All right. Should be good for everything. I've got longer rolls, but I like to use a shorter one on trucks when I can. I remember working with somebody, and everything that he did was bad. And I always say you can learn something from everybody. Sometimes that's you learn what not to do. How dark is... Oh, factory on this is going to be a little light. So I generally did 35% carbon to match the front on this. Also, the front glass on this is way more yellow. So let me take this off. That is a very noticeable tinge to the glass, and just some Toyotas do that. The next question is people are going to ask is it UVU? No, it's UVS. It just still has that tinge to it. I still have yet to see UVU. It gets so talked about. I have not seen it yet. They put a coating on the inside of the glass that it can be scraped and damaged. Why they're doing it, I don't know, but they're only doing it on a handful of vehicles, namely Lexus NX series or something like that, and then a handful of Toyotas because they're the same thing. Yeah, 24 by 100. Yeah, you can do everything but the full windshield. How many trucks could you get out of it? Just like a 36-inch roll, you should be able to get like 8 full trucks out of it. 24 by 100. Yep. How would you prep the window with clear coating? I would do a scrub pad, if anything, and that's it. Just be light about it. Honestly, you don't need to do very much to prep glass. It's really if there's something sticky to it, which that's why I don't understand why they made that decision. If they put like a sticker or something like that on the window, it's gonna be bad. Do you still like tinting? Most days. It gets tougher when it's all you do every day and you don't have any breaks for anything else. That's where you start to, you look to be at the end of the day more than not, but that would be with anything. With anything, I would get bored. Anything that's tedious. Can the workhorse cut PPF? Yes. I didn't realize people were waiting for that video. Yeah, it's still a video I want to do. But I got to think about it a little bit more. But so I got to write some stuff down too. The answers should be really easy though. But I'll have Essentially, I want to have a list of tools and really figure out how much it'll cost, but it'll be like a full set of tools will be under 250, 300, would be right around that range. That would be like everything with the sprayer and a heat gun, or at least that should be. And so then the rest of your money would be film. Well, actually, part of it would be film. So it really depends on the stage that you're at. And then if you had any type of remaining budget, I mean, you should save a little bit of money, set up a shop website, learn how to do that yourself, because it's not hard. Just to have something going. Obviously, you're going to do your maps profiles and Apple Maps, stuff like that. That's all free and easy. From there, you could put a little money into advertising, too. I messed up. I spent $600 in tools when I started. Dude, I spent $400 on, like, an impact when I was making, like, God, I don't even know what I was making. It had to be, like, 10 to 12 an hour, if that. So before window tinting, I was doing, like, auto accessories and detailing and stuff. So I was learning how to do all that. And the thing is, the shop guys are cool, and they'll let you borrow tools up until you're borrowing the same tool over and over and over again. And at some point, they're going to get annoyed because they paid for their tools, so they expect you to pay for your tools. I was doing, you know, so you need like an impact to loosen bolts, so you can do step bars. You need a socket set. Like, you don't need a ton. But when you're doing auto accessories, like, you need a big variety, and then you want to get a toolbox. So you'll easily have, what, like maybe $3,000-$4,000 on like enough basic shit. And then there's always other stuff that you want, and then those tool trucks comes around and sells you something else. You pay that off every week for the rest of your life. So window tinting is like far cheaper by comparison. Made a hybrid last year. I used separate turbo for top edges. Nice. Are you still going to... Oh, yeah. Do you charge extra if there are window visors on the sides? No. No, I don't charge extra on most things, because I really took my standard pricing a while back and I just made everything the same. Most things are similar enough. So you have some cars that'll take a little longer. You have some cars that won't take quite as long. So a lot of things kind of even out. So I don't think it makes a ton of sense to charge all that differently from vehicle to vehicle. You know, a few dollars difference. Like, so I was doing like $250 and then $280. And then I just made everything like $290 because I was going to raise pricing anyway. So I just made everything the same. So that's enough money to spend at least a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours on your regular, on like most every car. When it comes to the unique stuff, something like an old Corvette or whatnot, obviously I would change the pricing for that, but just to keep things simple. So like when Jack wants to schedule an appointment, yeah, see, nothing weird about this glass. But when Jack wants to schedule an appointment, it's all pretty easy to do that. Just trying to simplify some of those systems. Do you shrink all the windows before you apply in every car? Yep. Yep. I think I was going to retrim this one. Have you sent visors? It's not too hard. They do get in the way. So if they're the stick-on exterior ones, it can be extra tedious to cut them out. If they're the interior ones, they'll stay out of your way enough. You just heat up the top window when you roll it up. If you have something that is actually getting in the way of the cut, so if it was like, I've only ever seen it on back quarters, so it's really nothing else. So like there's the in-channel ones that come all the way down here, and I will pop those out, and then you have the other style that sticks up in here with like a double-sided stick tape. That's fine. You just heat up the window and then roll it up into that. And then for the ones that stick to the outside, you know, you just have to roll the window down extra far when you're making your top cut. That's the only difference there. They're annoying, sure, but they're not like crazy difficult. Or you buy a plotter and then you just pre-cut your doors. There we go. What kind of car? It was $350 for sides with the windshield. I do $350 for the sides and the rear in carbon. So they're cheaper than I am. Tinting prices all over the place. It depends on where you are, it depends on who you go to, because it's a contractor skill. So whatever people get their materials for, smart shop owners realize that they have overhead and need to grow their business, so they'll be more expensive. You'll have smaller private contractors that don't charge as much because they don't have as much overhead and are tinting from car to car, and you know, that's all well and good too. So it just depends on who to go to and where you are. 2 doors, windshield, and strip, $375. Okay, 2 doors and windshield here would be about like $270. And then a strip would be like an extra $60. But in carbon, that would be more expensive. So it would be $200 for the windshield. It would be $160 for the front doors. And then it'd be an additional still like $60 for the strip because we just do a strip. So whatever that math is. What about ceramic? I got charged $400 for the whole thing. Oh no, you didn't get robbed. I charged $450 for everything without the windshield. Here's the thing that's hard to explain too, though. Is like, are you happy with the film that's on there and are you happy with the quality of the work? So if you are, then the price is fine. We got we got a few things done at my house. We got a deck, and we got a pathway that leads around the back. And I've seen some less expensive work, and I've seen some more expensive work. And it just depends on who you go to. Sometimes you can't even get in touch with people. So it's just like, it's all over the place. At the end of the day, just be happy with the work that you got done on it if they did a good job, because there's like, you know, trying to save $100 on a tint job at the end of the day, like it may work out, but it very well can go in the other direction, where all of a sudden you get a piece of shit shop that just does a bad job and then hassles you about redoing it. So, look, that's just, I can't tell you how, when you tend to overspend maybe a little than what you would think on getting a job done and it goes well, there's a reason why it all worked out. The unfortunate bit is when it's the opposite, when you pay what you feel like is extra and then you just have a bad experience. That sucks. There's a lot of shitty shops and stuff out there. They just don't care. Sweet. This lined up real nice. I'll let that dry for half a sec. I think the price and quality is good. I didn't mind paying for more as long as it's quality work. That's how I feel about a lot of this. And there's those times like before you do it that you'd be like, I feel like it's a little expensive. Maybe I could get a better deal somewhere else. And then you just like stomach it and go through it. And if it goes well, like, sweet. Like, I had to find a company to do my lawn, and I don't know who to call. And to be honest, it shouldn't be that big of a deal at all. So we just called a company whose truck showed up to a neighbor's house that they did a good job on, and we're like, we'll go with them. Now, at our last house, we had a guy that would just like, again, he was just like at the neighbors. We needed to get our lawn cut. We talked to him. He was a nice guy. He did an okay job. Like, he cut the lawn on a schedule. Sometimes he would, like, on his own schedule. Sometimes he would come by more frequently because it seemed like he just wanted to get paid more. And then other times, like, yeah, I don't know. It was just harder. But he didn't charge very much money for it, but we always had to make sure that we were there because nothing was like automated. We had to pay him in cash. And now we have a company and things are just a lot easier. They add processes. They have a schedule. They're a little bit more expensive, but like, oh, the other thing was like he never seemed to like edge the yard too. So look, there's always good and bad. Sometimes you can find that right guy that does a good job and you don't pay as much and you win. You absolutely can. But sometimes you got to pay extra and have some peace of mind, and then you just don't deal with as much frustrations. Because you never really know the frustrations that could be there until you have to go through them. Because we've been on that side. Nice. Come on. Clean this up. That one went really well. Here, I'm gonna flip this, and then I don't put stuff on it and use it as a table, and then I can't use it. How's the tint slip working? It's working great. I've used it on everything, and I haven't added anything else. Not many people like paying more for quality. Same for me when someone wants me to correct their car, I give them a quote, and they keep asking for cheaper options. So that's always going to happen. I still get plenty of those phone calls. I get lots of phone calls like, I show up on maps. People call the shop. How much is it? Okay, thanks. I'll call you back. So you're always going to deal with that on some level. But the more things that you have in place to explain what you do, and the better that you can kind of present that, you'll weed yourself out of those people. Also, your pricing will weed yourself out of those people too. So if you're not that expensive in the beginning, you'll generally attract cheap people that always ask for a better deal. I never get haggled for my prices. They just either tell me yes or no. How do you justify your prices? Well, with working around a lot of shops, I kind of knew what most people were willing to pay for like an average tint job anyways. So it's good to kind of call around in your area and kind of see where most people are getting prices for. But you got to figure out your overall costs. How many cars can you do in a day? And you got to like whittle that down to an actual number of like how much time is this going to take and how much do I need to charge for that amount of time. So it's nice to whittle that down to like an hourly rate. And then on average, these cars are going to take me 2-3 hours worth of time. And having things in place that help explain why your pricing is what it is, you know, just in like, honestly, nice website, simple videos, a halfway decent presentation. When you get a phone call and then it's just somebody asking like, hey, how much is this service? It's like you're not really giving them anything other than a sales pitch on the phone. So those I hate the most. I always hate feeling like I have to justify my services. So like that's why there's a lot up. There's obviously this YouTube channel. There's my website. I send Tint Whiz proposals, which look all nice and pretty. But it is work. It's always work. If I wanted more business, I'd just lower my prices, but I deal with more frustration. So on average, a $4 cost is about the cost of a box of film. That's what you're going to see most people do. They generally charge what a box of film costs for a car. But you have a lot more expenses than that, too. And that's the thing. As you're growing, you need that extra money to pay for those extra things and continue to grow. People are expensive. I don't care if they're cheap people. People are still expensive. They're the most expensive thing that you'll ever pay for. So when you're talking about spending, when you talk about spending a couple grand on a machine that's going to cut out all my tint for me, it's like, well, that's a couple grand. I'll spend a couple grand a month on one employee. Easily. No. Yes and no. Are there any official standards for specs? No, you're thinking too hard about it. Because the thing is, you cannot change a customer's bad feelings. So the IWFA says 5 feet back from the car at an angle, and if you can still see it, then you should redo it, and if you can't see it, then it's acceptable. Well, you're more than welcome to use those guidelines, and I will take all the customers that you piss off when you tell them that. Because I'll do a better job than that. So most people are not going to nitpick your job to the oomph degree. Most people are not going to stick their eyes right against the window and go, oh, there's something right here. It's like, no, most people are cool. Most people are cool. They're getting window tint done. Like this customer, this is one of my favorite ones. He requested that this was streamed. And so it's like also planned for plenty of time so that it could be. And like, that's awesome. I like to stream it. Hell yeah. So sure, every once in a while, you might get one of those people that is just like uptight and is not happy with the work that you did. And it makes you want to quit retail and make systems and shit like that. But honestly, you got to look at all the good jobs that you do and how little you have those problems. And don't make everybody else's life difficult just because you had one hard experience with a customer. I went in 7K film plotter, film and tools. I'm a one-man show. I detail that 7K was hard to part with. That's a lot to jump in with. That's like jumping in with everything. All right, let's put this, I think we're going to put this on the plotter. Let's cut out, let's start with this. Let's wipe this down. I'm going to throw a piece there, and then whatever I have left, I'm going to cut the quarter windows out on the plotter. I just want to make sure I have a shorter piece for this back window. Is it a good idea to make fresh slip solution each time? Your slip will last for the whole day, and it really depends on how hot it is. Soaps will start to separate from the water. Usually after, like, the first day it's great, then it sits overnight. Second day, it's usually pretty good. Third day, it should be changed out. Now, if it was like really hot, it'll generally separate much quicker. So the way you'll know is you just go to tint a window, and if it seems like extra tacky and you haven't changed out your water, then just change your water. It's like the #1 indicator right there is it just becomes, if it's unusable. But if it still slides great, then yeah, you're fine. You can keep it and keep using it. It's not gonna like stain or look weird or anything like that. Oh shit, I think I only have enough to print out one of the quarter windows on here then. Okay, so we need to say it's at 57. We need to change it to like 75 or something. I ordered door protector. One of them is not sticking correctly, but one is. Oh, well, that's interesting. You want to send me an email? We'll send you another one out if it's not. I've noticed, too, some door panels are not sticking quite as nicely as I'd like them to. So I've had to put the tape here. So these are the same tapes, but I'm trying to express order. We've widened out the next batch, and I've also adjusted the stickiness to be even more sticky. Just like tint slip is going to be more slippery. But I think I jumped the gun a little bit on that first batch. What is this, like 22 Toyota 4Runner. We have a, it'd probably be smarter to do a 36 actually off of this, because I'm really only going to be able to do one at a time. So whatever I cut out of here, and let's just do a test cut and see how that goes. And that's going to be the end of the film. I need a trash can over here. Do that. Plotter software. Oh, is that not working either? God, see, Windows updates screw everything up. Everything goes into like a reset. Speech engine. It should be this thing. There we go. Plotter software. There you go. No? Did that not work? Plotter software. There. Oh, okay. All right. Just decided to log me out. Plotter software. Hey, there we go. Okay. Guess it's good now. We'll order spray tank next, more door protectors. Should I wait until you get your new shipment? Maybe. It's probably going to be about a month before we get the next one in. It works, and I like it overall. I just, again, I want to make more improvements to it. Some of the stuff has been a home run right out of the beginning, and some of the other stuff has been like, it's working. It's good. I like it. It just isn't perfect on everything, so. But the good news is I can make the adhesive stronger. So we're going to do that on both seal guard and the protector panels. And then I'm also going to make this tape wider on the next batch. So then you'll have more surface area for sticking too. Because I honestly wasn't sure. There's pros and cons with both. Having a thin version is nice, because then you don't have as much tape to to unroll. Like, it's easier to get in place, especially in tighter areas and stuff. It's not going to bunch up, and it kind of wraps around certain areas a little bit easier. But I think we need more surface area for most door panels anyways, so we'll see. We got some new tri-edge stuff too. They're not on the site, so because we got them when I had the class. So we got in both of the tri-edge XLs. Those are going to be up there. We got this really cool new shrinking card. And what else we get? We got scrubbits too. We'll put scrubbits up there. How's the tint slip compared to all type? Oh, I like it way better. That's the reason why it even exists. Or else we'd be using all type. So the slip solutions that exist, it depends on the film that you use, 100%. And I don't know why this happened, but I was so happy with some of them with like Avery NR. I used ASWF for a little while. No problems. And you'd be fine too with just regular baby shampoo. Geo and some other films have a very tacky adhesive. And so we had to make a product to deal with that. So that's all I was trying to solve with that. I just wanted to use one solution for what I use, the end. Especially when Geo said, hey, don't use Dawn. I'm like, hey, excuse me? Oh, damn. Might have to cut this one back out. So this all lined up, and the one part that was like pushed out, I tacked the rest of it down. No. Send me one of each. Once we put them up on the site, all right, let's get, so 50, 35, this is 20. That's the best tip that you can give a mobile tinter. Figure out how to tint inside while you're still mobile. Honestly, I recommend tinting for other shops when you're mobile, because then you get the best of both. Going from house to house is overrated. It's a lot of logistics. You always gotta find clients that have space for you to tint in, which there's just not as many people. Okay, how many more people have houses? Or how many people don't have houses that have actual houses with a garage that you can pull in and tint a car? And then how many people that theoretically have that space, but unfortunately it's full of crap and they can't open up their doors inside their own garage? So then you limit your potential client base. Every time somebody calls you, you got to make sure that they have those things. The easier you can make all that, the better. So when you partner up with shops, when you go mobile from like company to company, they already have a client base. They already have people asking about window tint potentially. They'll have a space for you to tint in. $72. Let's try that. Pattern was good, so that's good. Here, I'll cut out an extra one. No, I'll just cut these out, and then we'll see. Who really uses a garage for cars? I tell you, that's what ours was for a little while. We're so proud we can actually fit both of ours in our garage right now. Except now we have bicycles in the garage. So we got to put like a bike rack on the wall or something like that. So that's annoying. But yeah, it's no joke. Like when you actually start thinking, like how many people can I possibly sell to and in what area? So if you're doing mobile tint, you're going to want to do that near nicer areas where people have more disposable income. They have houses with garages that you can tint in. And then you're going to have to figure out ways to market to those people. Or you're going to have to set up things where you can deal with being as mobile as a mobile detailing business, which I just saw one in my neighborhood the other day. Truck in a trailer in front of the driveway. He had everything set up. That's easier to do with the detailing business. But the other problem too is if it rains, he'd have to put up a pop-up canopy. So like there's just, you know, it's good to keep it out of the sun. So like you got to come up with things to deal with those problems. So I guess a good way to look at it too, the more headache that you force on your customers, the less business that you're going to have. Do you have a garage that I can tint in? Is it heated? Is it cooled? Does it have lighting? Blah, 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 blah. That's all stuff that the customer has to do. If you can take care of all those problems for them, then you'll get more business. So a lot of people look into mobile tinting as a cheap way to get into tinting. It comes with a lot of challenges. Good, good, good. Just slide over, please. Thank you. Aha! That one went way better. Sweet. You can use like any synthetic clay bar. Some are better than others. Like some are really soft. And if it's hot outside, what'll happen is they'll leave clay spots on the window as you use a clay bar. So if it's a harder clay bar, it's not going to leave spots. Yay. So I didn't really think of things that way, though, a while back. But I'll tell you, when I was working with the mobile tint company, and every once in a while they would send me to somebody's house, put it in maps, have to go find the house. That usually wasn't too bad. But sometimes it was. Like one time they sent me, and it was an apartment complex. And I'm like, hey, I'm at an apartment complex right now. Is this the right address? Hang on, let me call the customer. Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask them if they have a garage. They don't have a garage, and it's in the middle of winter, so I guess we're not doing that job now. Thanks. I drove out there for nothing. And then there were other ones. Do you have space? Yes. Do you have heat in your garage? Yes. Okay, great. We can come out and we can tint your car. And the light in their garage would be one light bulb in the center. The space was about this much space in between the doors and the wall. And the heater in the garage was a little space heater in the corner that does not put out enough heat to heat up an uninsulated garage. How did you get into tinting? My dad owns a auto accessories company, so I kind of just like had it gifted to me. But I was going to aviation mechanics school at the time too, so I was not looking at tinting like a long-term career. Finished aviation mechanics school, kept on window tinting. Sweet, this side looks great. Very happy with this side. Now we got to do the other side. I want my coffee over here. Is there a ceremony of initiation to tinters? Yeah, it's burning your arm. It's right there, see? That's your initiation. Once you burn your arm with a heat gun, you're a tinter. Congratulations. It never seems to end. Do I not have, oh, I have one razor blade on this side. Cool. It's not much cheaper to be mobile versus fixed location if you account for time and fuel. 100%. The biggest difference is mental. If I'm not driving, like, this is how they get so many people on Uber and stuff like that. It's like, well, I'm already paying for my car, and I'm already driving around, so I can just drive around and deliver some orders. You don't really think how much wear and tear you're putting on a vehicle, how much you're spending in gas, and then you're still going to be taxed on top of that. I was going to be a stripper before tinting. You'd be a window tint stripper. I'm mobile, but it's a real struggle in I'm mobile, but it's a real struggle, and it's about to be real hot in Texas. Oh yeah, no kidding. Oh, this is off. Key not detected. It's right here. Depress the brake pedal. You're stupid. Rude. Yeah, it's like there's no way around it. Tinting outside is hard. You're dealing with everything else. Like, so you have to deal with weather. You have to deal with environment. You're always moving around. There's setup. There's tear down time. You have to check the customers in and out. You have to figure out a space to tint. All that takes time. So when you, this is a good quote too. I don't know who quoted it, but oh, no, there goes the good quote on my head, I forgot. No, you pay with things in two ways. You either pay with it with your time, or you pay for things with money. So mobile is cheaper to get going, but you're paying for all the setup and tear down and driving. You're paying for that with your time. I mean, and your vehicle expense too. But the setup and tear down, that's all extra time. When you have a physical location, you don't have that anymore. But then somebody has to come to you. I had an in-person tint school, really. Aw, for once you guys would be jealous of Michigan weather. See, we have beautiful summers, but right now I think it's actually a little colder. What's the temperature outside? Let's see. It's 56 right now. It's a little cold. It's May, and it's 56. I'm so done with this weather. But yeah, you guys have like stifling hot on the other end of the spectrum, and I hate that. We have beautiful weather in the summertime, but it takes a while to get there. Why are you cutting the edge again? I felt it could be better. There we go. Because every once in a while I double cut Pro Nano, and I use that like top edge blade and everything, and then it still like isn't quite there. So like I'm better at single cutting film that thick at this point, but I don't know. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it could be a little better. But yeah, there's no way we're doing outdoor mobile tinting here without quite a bit in the way. So Rick, Sun Distributing Rick, he did mobile tinting from shop to shop as well. He owned the mobile tinting company that I worked for. But he went a step further in the wintertime. He had bills to pay. I didn't have as many bills to pay. So what he ended up doing was he got a like 15 by 10 pop-up tent, and he could stuff that into a Nissan Pathfinder. He could get the whole thing set up inside 15 minutes. He would get a torpedo heater, propane tank, run an extension cord from the mobile shop or from the shop out to the parking lot, and he'd be tinting cars. If it was too windy, they couldn't set up the tent. But he took care of most weather. He took care of rain, and he took care of heat. But some of these accessory companies that we tinted for, they would still have a lot of tint business, but they would have even more remote start business. And they would say, nope, sorry, we're only going to do remote starters right now. This is our season, so you're going to be put on hold. So he said, fuck that. I will solve this problem, and he solved it. So I don't want to solve the truly mobile tinting problems, like, because I think there's always like a lot of work in place. You need an environment. You need to like control your environment. So that's really through like pop-up systems and whatnot. But my favorite way of doing like mobile tinting was going from shop to shop. It just took so much headache out of it. They check in the customer. They write the schedule. Yeah, they take a cut of the job, but they save me so much more time and money because I don't have to run anywhere. And then again, checking in and out the customer, lining appointments up. Like, you just keep going all day long. Then at the end of the day, you pack up your stuff and you leave, and you can go to another shop. You don't have to be tied to that one shop. You give them 1 or 2 days a week. I think it's the best system. But the biggest drawback of that entire system, this is what really sucks, is you're not building up your own clients. You're tinting for those shops. So if you start your own, you open up your own shop, you got to grow it just like everybody else did. So like we tinted for a company called Cartoons. I don't know if that name is just so I'm so used to hearing that name, but when people first hear it, I don't know if everybody's heard that name yet. Cartoons. Oh my God, I did it again. Come on, there we go. Wow Electronics. God, who else do we tint for? Classic Appreciation. I need for Auto One, Auto Accents. Sound Waves. God, Sound Waves drove me crazy. A lot of stereo shops. And, oh yeah, Symbol Auto Glass. They were awesome. I like them overall. We had our frustrating days, don't get me wrong, but they were pretty cool overall. But either tinting for other companies or tinting out of your home. I think those are the best long-term easy solutions. Because if you're tinting from home, you're building up your own name. And you can easily grow out of your home into a shop if that's what you want to do. You just keep tinting from home. I love tinting from home. It was awesome. And you're more comfortable at your home. Yes. Yeah, exactly. You are much more comfortable at your own home. The only annoying part is it's your own home. So pickups, drop-offs, not everybody's going to want to come to your home, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you get to poop at your own home in comfort. That's actually a big deal. Did Symbol find a tinner? They did for a little bit, but I don't think they have one now. That's the thing. Shops like that are always looking for good tinters. There's genuinely good shops that pull in good business that just can't get a tinter because everybody comes with baggage and problems. I would make about $2,000 for being there for 2 days a week. That's what I would generally make out of Symbol. Now, it was work. I was hustling around all day. And they're just sitting over there trying to find a tinner. Can't find people. And if they do, they suck. Or they don't hang around for very long. It's just always a headache. You wouldn't believe how much shops have to deal with that headache. We like to poop at your home, too. Yeah, sometimes things don't fit in the garage. Yep. I ran into that, too. I remember I had a 4Runner scheduled, and then he had a roof rack on it. And I'm looking up, all right, I can clear, 7 feet? But if it's got a rack on it, I can't pull it in the garage. This is a problem. And then the customer never showed up. So, oh well. But yeah, you definitely deal with that kind of stuff to some degree. And to be honest, so if I was doing things from home and I had lifted trucks, I would 100% come up with a simple pop-up system where I could kind of extend it from the garage, and then I could just deal with it for the day. What do you recommend for tools and practice? Is there a course? Tint School Online, they have a course. And then there's good old YouTube where you can find all the answers to everything. It's just they're all scattered. On mobile jobs, do you get hairs constantly in your installations? When I was mobile, environment was a pretty small problem. For the most part, it was fine. So it sucks that I just tinted this door, but most of it is your own installation. So the only exposure time, there can be dust raining down on this pattern until I go to peel it. So you go on the inside every time you go to install. Last thing you do is squeegee off, spray, come to this side, peel, pick that pattern up, stick it on the inside, and as soon as that is stuck here, this is all fine. There can still be shit floating around or whatnot. People can use air guns. And then you're not going to have a problem. But your exposure time is really small. Really small. So one of our mobile accounts, I was in the bay where they made speaker boxes. So the whole thing was just Sawdust City. Now we would request that they generally had it kind of swept out. But if you touched any of the surface there, there's still you're getting it was not cleaned. It was swept out or lightly blown out for the most part, but there was still shit everywhere. But the thing is, you go in, you shut the door, so then there's just no air movement, so everything settles, and you're tinting the car, so you're fine. Mobile takes a lot more of a go-get-it attitude, honestly. It really does. Because you can be in this space, and you can have everything how you want it, and be very particular. And mobile window tinting is you just got to go fuck this, I'm going to make this happen. So if you see every problem as a problem, you're going to have a lot of problems. If you see every problem as a challenge that you can fix, then you'll do great. Driver's side is hard to tint. Oh, windy days? Yeah, you gotta take care of the wind. I had to do 4x4 trucks outside. Ugh, not fun. How come you only use the green carbon blade for cutting the top edge of the glass? Because this is a carbon blade. You don't want to use this anywhere else because the carbon, like it's a harder blade, so it's going to scratch the glass for sure. Stainless steel, on the other hand, is a softer metal, so it's less likely to scratch. It still can scratch, but it's less likely to scratch. So that's why I use this for all the other cuts. For the top cut, you're just shearing the tint off. You can still use this for all your cuts. You don't have to use separate ones, but what we found is, especially new people, they tended to snag the tint more with stainless. They're a thicker blade. They're still great. You can cut everything with it. But if you're having that issue, the thin blades help out a lot. I'm a detailer and I want to learn to tint. I don't want to pay for another shop. What do you recommend as far as tools practice? Is there a course I can buy? As a detailer, I don't want to pay for another shop. Can you not tint? And do you have a shop that you can tint at? Because you can make things work at one shop. So I've tinted at detail shops. Generally, we have to be a little bit more separated because between the air guns, the pressure washers, and everything else that they're using, you kind of needed to be separated a little bit more. This one detail shop, so like this also goes for multiple details going on at the same time. When you only have so much space, you can have a car here, you can detail a car here, but if you're pressure washing and polishing and stuff, all that shit's going on in a car that you just cleaned up. So what they had was they had a curtain system, and they would pull that over, and then they would I would be able to separate one car to the next and have them side by side. So I would suggest that. I have a place that I operate, but I don't have my own shop. Ah, okay. So you probably can't do that same thing then. Well, that definitely makes things a little difficult. You have to talk to other people that are there and figure something out. Do you get annoyed repeating the same questions all the time? No, not really. I've come to accept that it's a revolving door. There's always new people coming in and out. So I've come to appreciate that this is kind of I need to know window tint, like wiki. Like, hey, what about this? What about that? I need to ask somebody. I can ask you. So it's fine. Because I had to deal with a lot of these things. I've come to appreciate the number of different ways that I've been a part of tinting businesses and stuff. Mobile, houses, work at a high production shop. And a lot of it has been completely like on my own as far as like I was responsible for getting all the tint work done. Because no matter what shop I was at, like for quite a long time, I didn't have a lot of help. You know, when you're out mobile, it's like the only person that you can depend on is yourself then. Minus the bailout days that we could potentially have. But like, you know, if there were problems, you had to figure out how to solve them. You can make phone calls, but that's why I like the Facebook group. It's like, that's your phone call. There we go. Make sure all this is tucked in here. Looking good. go for the red here. See how this one works out. Nice. Da, 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 da. Cool. So, oh, my tape's already peeled. Sweet. So that's all the doors and those quarters. The rest of it, I'm just kidding. We got that back glass. Dang, that back glass is not going to be super fun. I thought the hard part was over. Here, I'm going to shut this too. It's a boat shop. They only deal with small boats. For detailing? Where's my coffee? We'll have a sip and we'll keep going. They're okay because they're my in-laws. Oh, okay. Well, that's good that it's family. Well, if you're wanting to do tinting in a place where they do detailing, then you're going to have to figure out how to work together on that. That's definitely going to be a challenge. The main thing is figuring out how to kind of separate you from everything else that's going on in there, and if it's just not possible, then yeah, you're probably going to have to get another space. I mean, but like, why go into tinting? Is it just because you have some people asking about it? Because what I find a lot of times is like when you're good at doing a thing, you want to keep doing that thing and scale up in that thing as much as possible. I want to keep a what? I want to have a shop of tint, but keep most of my detailing mobile. So then you can't do the detailing anymore. You got to hire people to do that. There's no way you can do both. How long after applying the dryer sheet? How long after applying a dryer sheet can you place tint on the glass? As soon as it's dry. So if the glass is hot, it usually takes like a minute or two, and then it'll be fine. But you'll be able to, like, if you touch it and it's completely dry, you're not getting any, like, yeah, it's wet versus dry. That's my goal. I would try and make it a combo space, honestly. I'll think about it a little bit more. The only reason I would have it more of a combo is because then there's just less running around. Unless you have, like, people that you can trust that are worth, like, all that headache, having them run around from person to person and doing a good job. Like, if it's mostly hands off of that, sure. Or you can put somebody in charge of that, then sure. Is the front windshield hard? No, the front windshield's going to be easier than this back window's going to be. But what's unique about this back window is that it rolls down. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. That is tall. Was I really that short? Wow. That is tall. That goes... I overlap this quite a bit, and I'm still about an inch short. So, good news. This will be quarter window material now. Bad news, I gotta go get my long roll. It got me good. But, I mean, I guess if you're doing mostly mobile detailing now, then yeah, you have a client base, you can keep doing that. So if you find people that you can do that and then focus on window tinting at a shop. But, I mean, for the people that can already bring you cars and detail at your shop, I see that as a pretty good win too. Then find a window tinter and bring them into your shop. Actually, that's tough. All right, here, let's do this. Oh, I got the thing in there. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna put this up extra high now. Now I'm probably gonna be like 6 inches too tall on this. Did you check the plotter pattern? No, because this has like a roll down top edge, so I just like, I mean, I was gonna say like I know what I'm gonna get, and then I just, I didn't get what I thought I was gonna get. So it would have been worth at least trying at that point if I'd known I'd mess it up. But I know people have questions on these ones because it's a big roll down back window, something you usually don't see every day. And when you don't have a plotter, what do you do? Funny. We were just talking about the old truck at the beginning. This has those same types of like rounded edges. Like if I were to just cut this with this edge, you'd have a big gap as soon as you rolled it down. So that's why I'm just cutting like basically like a little marking point. That's going to be one edge. We're going to drag it way over because we need to make this wider. And we're going to cut this side. Drag it over half as much. Looked up tint school, I didn't find anything. So there's like, I do tint classes for 3 days. There's window tinting school in Jacksonville. There's Window Tint Academy out in California. There definitely are like short classes and stuff that you can go to. And then as far as like a big online course program, there's window tinting school online. So like there's definitely stuff. There we go. All right, now let's see where we're at. Okay, we can definitely go down farther with it. Make sure this is picked up. Make sure this is squeegeed. And we're gonna keep rolling this down. Because my switch for it's so far out of the way. There we go. Now I can see my edges. So we're going to squeegee this flat. But you see these big rounded edges? That's my top edge there. So we're going to cut it all the way from one side to the next. The nice thing is you can cut it basically exact, and then you should be able to shift it down just a little bit. There's one side. Yeah, this back window is definitely unique. There's only like 2 vehicles that have a roll-down back window, and both of them, I think, are Toyotas. Are there any other ones that do? I don't remember. But Toyota truck, is it the Tundra? I think the Tundra does. And the 4Runner. Gotta clean that off, too. H2 Hummer. The Del Sol. You know, the guy that taught me how to tint, he had a Del Sol. Here, I'm going to shift it over slightly and we'll trim off this extra. I don't see, don't see like any of those things anymore. Don't see like any Hummers. I remember when those were like super cool. Then I sat in one and realized how cheap they are. It used to be like bragging rights. The more gas that you used, like, whoa. It was like not a cool thing, but also like in the car world, it kind of was. Now it's like polar opposite of that. All right, so we're gonna continue these cuts down. We got our top edge. Yeah, I agree. Everything else was kind of like a kind of an in-between thing. Or yeah. It was like taking that name and then making like a fake Hummer essentially because people like the idea. So big outside, so little inside. That's true. It really was. Okay. So, same thing with those rear truck type doors on like Dodges and other things is like you basically cut enough information here. So I know I max want to go this far. That's why I made that small incision cut right at the bottom of this window. Right here. I made this little cut down here because this is as far over as the glass extends. As soon as you roll it down, this is immediately under in the seal area where you never are going to see. So we went a little bit farther than that to hide any type of gaps that might be there on both sides. Then we rolled it down. We cut our entire top edge out. And then you have this big unknown from here to here. But this goes straight. So if you just continue this all the way over here, and then figure out where this is going to run into that, and just kind of round the difference there, then you're going to get your whole pattern. If I can find a ruler here, that would make my life a little bit easier. This is, oh, hey, cool. It's right here. See? Right like that. Then you can take this line. Let's just curve it a little straight. And then we should have basically our whole window there. Should be pretty good. All right, we still have to shrink it. Oh, no, it's that one right there. Right here. That's that cut. That little guy right there. And we still gotta go shrink this puppy. Oh, where's my thing? All right. Damn it. Hang on. I gotta find it. Is it over here? No, it's in the package. I don't want to open a new one. I don't have that many. It should be in my tool belt. This also was playing around with it a lot. If I have to open a new one, I'll be sad. Well, I have those. I know I'm going to find this as soon as I don't need to find it anymore. I have a new style. There's the packaging for it. Where the fuck did I put it? Let me check the other cart, and if not, I'll open up another one. Well, I know I'm going to find this soon. Yeah, these will be up on the site soon. But this guy right here is friggin' cool. So this is called the Pros card. This is from Tri-Edge. They do such nice packaging on these. So really at, not the last class, but the class before that, there's some guys that wanted some hard cards. And I don't have any hard cards, but I definitely can appreciate the difference. So this is the Pros Card 4. And this is what's cool about this, it's a double suede buffer here. So you have a small inner buffer and a bigger exterior one. And so it kind of gives you a similar feel to like a felt card, but then you have a hard card on the other side as well. So this is definitely more rigid. So if you like the idea of a felt card, but you wanted something a little stronger, this has that strength behind it. Is it better than the felt card? It's kind of it's a good alternative. If you like I still love the felt card. You'll see me jumping back and forth between them. But if you like something want something with it's a little bit stronger, this is going to be that. But it's cool because you don't have to go full hard card. But it's nice that they give you that option on it. I was kind of looking for a couple of options. One in between, and this side is in between, but then this has the hard card side, so you can flip it over, and you can use this side just as a regular hard card if you want. So I thought that was pretty cool. At least that's what they tell me, right? So I prefer this side just because I don't want to go full hard card, but I know that there's people that like full hard cards, so. I should sacrifice one and see how heat resistant this edge is too. So I gotta ask something. You said you can use it as a hard card, so kind of assume that it's going to be heat resistant too for that. But yeah, they've got a whole bunch of these in different hardnesses, and I just wanted one. I want whatever the best one is for shrinking. So I've got like a couple other colors that he also recommended, like for window tinting, he recommended these two. So I have a couple different colors that I'm going to try out. This one is stiffer than the purple. And then the yellow one is kind of like in between these two. So I think it kind of goes like this. But this one is like noticeably harder and heavier. OTE. 59 NOK. Whoa, that's a different currency. What's the difference between Apex and Apex Ultra other than the thickness? Is it worth the money? Keep up with it. Thank you. Yeah, it's everything switched over to Apex Ultra. there is a big difference in clarity between one and the other. So that reminds me, I have to update my site. So basically what they were doing was anybody that ordered Apex for a time was just getting shipped Apex Ultra because they were going through that transition. They released Apex, and then they shortly after released Apex Ultra. So Apex wasn't really out for very long at all. People liked it, and then they made like a significant improvement to it. And so here we are today. But yeah, just get Apex Ultra, and then I'm gonna have the site updated probably this weekend then. I think that should probably be good. Yeah, let me send him, I'm going to send him a text. But I'm going to have to just sacrifice one too. Because like if you get the pink tri-edges are more heat resistant. Oops. Is it this? Oh, I remember. This goes forward. And move their Yetis out of the way. They don't fit there. They don't fit there either. We're going to put that there. And then we're going to put this one over here too. These go forward. And then this goes down. Man. There we go. Now we got some space to crawl back there. This goes up. This goes down. They have that little cutout. Nice. Perfect. What's your opinion on Lumar IRX versus Lexan Coolmax on heat rejection? Dude, you go with Lumar easily over Lexan. That is comparing two hugely different film companies. One of them is a budget brand, another one is a premium brand. It's like, I don't know, like shoe brands. What's the difference between Nike and like Walmart branded shoes? It's kind of what you're asking. So probably a lot. I wonder if we got to shrink this at all. Up here. Oh, probably a little bit. Yeah, we should shrink this up here too. The seal isn't too bad on this. Some people remove it ahead of time. I've been able to tuck them in okay. I wouldn't say it's like super fun, but it's definitely manageable. removal of the panel. Yeah, that definitely makes the installation easier. I just saw, like, instead of taking the seal out, you gotta remove the whole panel. So I don't feel like going through all that. Yeah, tinting this one's a little bit of a pain. That's like 2 screws. Oh, I thought it was more than that. Here we go rewatch that video then. So I thought there was a little bit more fiddling with removing it, but if it's not that bad, then yeah, that's not bad. The biggest fun is going in and out of the car. So we're gonna leave this one here. I'm gonna get my other sprayer for the outside. I'm gonna leave it over here. I forgot. I think they even had a way to roll this one up and down from like the outside buttons. Hang on. Let me move this off. I had it there. I should have this off to the side. Because I gotta clean the underside of it too. So I'll clean the bottom. Then we'll do the top. We're gonna use the side. There's a little temporary thing there. So roll this up. I'm gonna hop in here. Not too bad. Probably could have taped my side seals too, huh? Alright, there we go for that. Let's go back to the outside. Oh, actually, we can just go right here. Roll that down. Right there. One side, 2 sides. Hop back out. Aw. Oh, I left my shoes on the other side. It's honestly easier not clunking around with shoes. Oh. I had this flipped for whatever reason. There we go. I won't step on a razor blade. We'll be okay. If anything, my socks will get a little dirty. All right. So, let's take this in there. Good thing you don't clip the blades on the floor. Oh, I do. And then they go right through though to underneath. You used to. I definitely still do. Not all the time. I'm a little more conscious of it now because my son runs around here and he likes picking things up off the floor. And razor blades is going to be one of them. Nice. Nice, nice. Keep a blade catcher in a pouch. That's a smart way to do it. I never got used to them, but I should, rather than put them on the floor. There we go. Roll that up. Let's talk about how your channel has doubled. I'll tell you, it's 100% due to YouTube Shorts. It's grown a ton from the shorts that we've posted. But also viewership has changed too a lot. Take this one in. Oops. There we go. Just make sure all these little parts that flip over. Pop those under. Last little one. There we go. Now the whole thing's going to go in. Yeah, honestly, viewership has changed with short form, and I'm honestly way late to the party, but I'm not doing too bad. So I think there's just a couple different types of channels, and there's ones for entertainment, there's ones for educational. I think nowadays, ones for educational are largely tell me what I need to know, and I'll learn things at my own pace. So there's a lot of like good videos, good information out there. Window tint doesn't really change, so like there's really not a lot of like interesting big entertainment things to kind of bring to the party. Nothing that hasn't really been seen or done already. Small things from time to time. But unless you really focus on being like an entertainment type channel, then a lot of like the simple educational bits about this is like, yeah, I can drown on and explain things for much longer. But really, like, you want to know what they are. Most people just want to give like the TLDR on it. So that's short form. So we put a lot more work into short form. Even my family brings it up more now. Like when we do something in short form, it's like they're usually like, oh yeah, I saw that video. Where before with the other videos, it's like they would ask if I posted something or I went live or whatnot. It's kind of funny how that all works too. Sweet. Got a little bit of touch up on the inside. Wipe it down, but that's pretty much that. And then we'll do those rear quarters. When I do... Ouch, cutting my knee. That would suck. Yeah, whenever, like, just like anything, though, any of the channels, like, your first 1,000 takes a while, then your first 10,000 takes a while, then your first 100,000 takes a while. And you can usually, like, grow faster because you just have more reach. So it's never going to take as long. But that being said, you always have to, it's never gifted to you. So just because you hit 100 doesn't mean like you're gonna hit 200 quickly either. You have to pay attention to what people want to watch. Where is Patrick? Haven't seen him post. I don't know. I assume he's probably just being pretty busy. It's tough to do both. Kind of reminds me of me years ago. There was a reason I didn't post video and stuff for a long time. Like I was posting pretty consistently in the beginning, and then after like 3 or 4 years, I like stopped for a while because it's a lot. It's hard to figure out. Because really, like a lot of time, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice between giving one thing way more time than another thing. And when you can just focus on doing tint work, that's going to be an easier, better money-making thing than going with the channel. So you do the channel because you like doing the channel. But at some point, like, when you're growing your own personal business, you just have so many other things that you have to do. So it's like before you had time, and then you just don't have time anymore. Torch it. No, we're just we're heating up the inside. I just had a finger on the side here, so I'm just warming it up and then getting it to press out. We'll probably have to roll this window down a little bit. Let's do that. Do a little touch up top. And then sides. Now I can get to them. Probably should have been shrinked just a little bit more. But I'm not trying to shrink it. I'm just heating it up. And then the glue is going to stick once it's dried. All right, cool. We're going to let this sit like this for a little bit, and I'll do these back quarters. I'll come back to it. Best thing you can do is heat it up for a little bit. Let it sit. Was I the only one to forget their certificate? Yes. I haven't shipped it, but we'll ship it out early next week. Fail. Yeah, people kept leaving like within the last couple hours of the class. So I kept forgetting too. So it was like, oh wait, we have certificates. I like to hand them out all at the end. But if people got to take off, like, hey, still teaching. But yeah, we got it. We will ship it out. I got your address, so it'll be all good. Glad you can make it, though. You can tell these people, how did you like it? Or how did you not like it? What's up with the tinter using a torch on the outside? I don't know. It's just to help speed up drying. Far? You were only in Chicago. But if you hit traffic, it's going to suck. This seems to be on everybody's mind. Everybody's like, I don't want to sit in traffic. I'm good. Watch me torch and burn down the whole car. Yeah, so the only reason you're going to use a torch on the outside after you tint it is just to help speed up drying. I don't like to. Honestly, what I notice as well is like you'd want to put a ceramic coating on after you do that, because you will 100% see, like as soon as it starts raining, you'll see where you torch the window. So you'll see like that torch pattern on the glass. So just like a small thing. If you own the car, you'd probably want to put a coating on the outside of it if somebody did that to your glass, or just keep that in mind. Same thing with the inside. But after you tint it, it doesn't really matter anymore. Overall, class was great. Really helped getting hands-on training than YouTube. Yeah, 100%. Oh, is it necessary or should you let the tint dry? No, it's definitely not necessary. It's just a nice thing if the window can dry out faster, but I think you should take probably some IR heat lamps and just keep them like at a nice distance away from the glass. And it would take a little longer to do, but if you want to dry them out that way, it would still happen relatively quick, and you could do it really, really thoroughly. You know, like how they cure ceramic coatings faster? They take heat lamps and they point them at the paint, and they just are careful about like temperature control and whatnot. So you could do the same thing for the windows. Okay. Let's do the other side first, and then we'll bring both of them in. Yep, that's all set. Let's grab the roll. What do you use on the windows that have a coating on the inside? So if there's a coating on the inside of the window, you'd want to remove it. So I have a hydrophobic glass scrub. Some guys will just take a torch and do things that way. It gets the job done, but just be careful. I think it's a little scary if a customer sees it, so. But yeah, I haven't, oh yeah, the Toyota coatings? I have yet to encounter one. Don't use a razor blade on it. Glass safe scrub pad should be okay, just go light. Glass doesn't, like especially new glass, doesn't need a lot of cleaning. So you don't need to take a razor blade to every window. Just do, like, I would treat it like it was already tinted, and you're basically prepping a tinted surface. If you're gonna put tint over tint, you're just gonna wipe it off with your hand, check for anything tacky, and then just, honestly, just like wipe it off with a towel and squeegee it a couple of times and you'll be fine. I'd say same thing with that glass. The big unknown for me is like, if you had to remove it, you'd probably have to use an adhesive remover and scrub pads for it. You couldn't use a razor blade anymore. So, I don't know. If I had a customer coming in with that particular type of glass, I'd have to probably treat the entire job a little differently. I don't know what's going to happen when we have to redo those. I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe torching the inside, yeah. Yeah, I don't. It's like getting water all over the panels, stuff like that. It's like, I mean, it's okay as long as you're generally just careful, or you wipe down the panel a lot. And in most cars, you can get the panels wet and it's fine, cover the switches. But it's just one of those, like, professionalism type of things. It's like, it gets the job done, and you can be safe about it, and it's okay. But it's got that freak out level. But yeah, so like this, you can take a scrub pad to prep this. But what you can also do is just run your hand over the whole thing. Because this has an antenna grid on it. Just like the rear glass has a defroster grid. So you just do things that are safe for those windows. You're not taking razor blades for the back window. So I would treat the door windows with the coating just like that. And so all I hope is that coating is strong enough to be okay for like a window tint removal, because that's the only part of it that I haven't heard from the group yet. If anybody's had to redo them, because it's new, so most people just tint them. That coating's only on the front doors? Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen one. I'd assume it'd be on all the doors, but could be maybe just on the front. I guess it depends on what it's on. So if it was on an SUV, the rear could be factory tinted, and then you probably wouldn't have that coating on it. But if it was a car, I'd imagine that coating would be on all the rear as well, because then it would look weird if it didn't. But yeah, you definitely don't have to razor windows. There's other things that you can do. I just don't know how strong that coating is. Good. See, let it dry out. Much better. I'm gonna roll that up. Up. There we go. Now we'll check the bottom. Yeah, buddy. Let's do this one last window. Back window, you can take the rubber molding off. Not by itself, not without removing the panel, so I just didn't feel like removing that. Alright, which way does this go? This way. Wait. No. It definitely goes that way. Alright. Got it. All right. I'm gonna bring the heat gun back in one more time. Touch everything up in here. Some extra rags. Let's do that. These out. You know what's nice? Step in shoes. I don't even have to do up laces. Was your Sienna a hybrid? Yeah, it was. I never tinted the rear of it. I wanted to, I just never got around to it. It was like winter time, and then we had to get rid of it by like early spring. It was sad. I like that thing. Figured we'd just buy a new one, and then prices went crazy. And so we liked it, but we didn't like it as high as prices went. So Explorer it was. We'll get one. We'd definitely get one again. But not for another 3 years. How cheap are... Oh, heat guns? These ones are great. These ones are $30. I think this is just the best value heat gun, period. If you're gonna get any heat gun that's under $100, get this. There's like close seconds and thirds. Porter cable's good. So the Porter cable / Craftsman, that one's good. There's like a Black & Decker one that's all right. And then it kind of like falls off. Like there's decent heat guns under $100, but they generally don't last. Same thing for these. Like these are probably, with heavy use, you'll probably get like 6 to 8 months out of them. But it was also like $30. So up from there, I haven't used every heat gun. So like out of everything that I've used, I've bought like the more expensive Wagners. I've bought Milwaukee. I've bought a lot of that in-between stuff, like from like $60 to $100. But the problem is they don't put out any significant, like any more heat. More expensive heat guns have features, unless you go into the like $180+ range on heat guns, or you get something that looks like way different. So maybe like a soldering heat gun would be different. But there's different fields, so you'll need temperature control, stuff like that. For window tinting, you don't need anything other than yeah, there's no reason to get anything other than that unless you're spending a significant amount more above that for like a much better build quality. Steinel was like the next one up from there. So you go from like $30 to like $300 on a heat gun. And that Steinel is awesome. But most people aren't going to care about that difference there. I saw a Wagner for like $27. I didn't think it was the one he was using. Yep, that's the one I'm using. So they like jumped. They used to be 20, and then with inflation they jumped up. This is the $300 one. This thing's awesome. I just turned this thing all the way up. It takes longer to get up to temperature, but it blows out a significant amount of heat. And then I've got this one over here. This I thought might be that $300 one, just without the digital controls, because like they look similar. Their temperature output wasn't very different from like the stats. But honestly, this is just a more hefty gun. This puts out, I think, a little bit more than the Wagner, and it's definitely a better build quality, but this will cost $180. And it's nice that it's got manual dials on it, because you can just leave it. Just turn it on. And then this one blows out a significant amount more heat. It's really, really noticeable. So it's a good jump. I still go back to showing and doing everything with the Wagners, though, because, like, that's what most people have. Took me a long time. Like, I just bought them, and the only reason I bought that one was because I got to use it in person first. You can still shrink, like, a back window in under a couple minutes with one of these. So, like, you're not really saving much time by upgrading your heat gun. You're just getting a better heat gun. So it's one of those toys that, like, when you're making good money doing what you do, you're like, yeah, I'll get that one. Why not? Go for it. Is the airflow as important as the heat? Not really. They're all going to blow some air, and to be honest, like, what I find the difference is when I want to cook the film with the Wagner, I got to get about this far away. I can still shrink it from about this far, but I got to get this close when I really want to move fast. With that gun, you can keep it about this far, and you're really cooking it. So when you put it this close, you're really, really going. But then you could just get comfortable with a torch and have even more heat, and it'd be cheaper. So, But yeah, at the classes we had everybody using those. We had the Craftsman one, and we've got they got the other heat guns that they were welcome to like look at and see the difference. But everybody really was, or a lot of people came to the class to learn how to shrink. So there's no point in throwing any big curveballs at people with like, oh yeah, you tried that one for a little bit, let's go all out. That's like if you know how to shrink. Cool. All right, so the inside of that's all touched up. This should be all good. Nice. We can put the seats back down. Headrest up. Now that's up. Shrinking is harder, I think, than learning how to hand cut. Yeah, they're both tough, but yeah, I kind of agree with that. Shrinking, there's like, hand cutting's more easily explained too. Shrinking is tough to explain because you're like looking for patterns in the film and knowing when you can push something down, and it's like being able to identify that stuff. So, people tend to spend the most amount of time at the class learning how to shrink, but, I mean, we had people of all skills at this last one. Most people, I think everybody had practiced before the class, and that was really, really helpful to everybody. Sweet. This looks good. We can even put these back. Oh yeah, 100%. Being able to see those subtle little differences. But I'll tell you, even at the class, you have to mess it up a handful of times to really even start to notice the difference between one and the other. And there's times like, God, it's hard. It's hard to teach people that too. And sometimes they mess it up and it's hard to explain exactly why they messed up, but then throw another piece, keep going. So I don't remember how many people had not shrunk anything. But there were a few people that had not shrunk windshields or back windows. And at the end of the class, everybody successfully on their own, I'd go help other people out, walk around. Next thing I know, I come back. Everybody was shrinking windshields at the end of it, which was super cool to see. We had somebody that brought in a CRV. That back window is a pain in the ass. People were knocking that out. I was very proud. They grow up so fast now. Students, they grow up so fast now. Amazing what tint can do to the look of a car. Yeah. So I hang out in some Tesla groups now. Not much, but I like to see what they like to talk about. And boy, are they ever bored with the look of their car. They're tired of that they all look the same. So tinting is 100% something that most of them like to do. Yeah, tint drastically changes the appearance of like everything. Easy to show, hard to explain. Yeah, for sure. But it was nice that that newer way of showing people how to shrink, people are still able to mess it up, but they got a grasp on what they were looking for, I think, way quicker. Yeah. At this point, it's better. They all look the same. At this point, better commit a crime with a Tesla. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I don't think you can be mad at Tesla that they all basically look the same. Because, like, dude, they're trying to do so much. They can't have 500 different SKUs of the same vehicle. And keep the prices where they're at. Like, everything costs money, so the more similar they can make everything, the cheaper they can make the car. So they changed the easiest things. And then out of that, it's like, really, even if they had, like to me, minus a trim kit, an Explorer is an Explorer, regardless if you're like base model or if you go like all out to an ST. It's like, yeah, there's badging differences, there's some color differences. So same thing with Tesla. It's like they're largely going to be the same except for some small differences in the wheels and some interior choices. It's really just, I think people wish they had like 20 different models so everybody could have one but be a little different. But like, hey, there's a reason you picked it anyways. That new way that you showed how to shrink seemed to work the best for me. Glad to hear it. The only thing I was not sure on is like, that's not how I learned how to shrink, but it seemed really hard to mess up. So at the class, all I had to tell people was really like, all right, move a little faster. Okay, next time move a little slower. And then they would vary the distance that they put the heat gun to the film. So it was figuring out those little differences. And then once we kind of got a hang of that, man. So there was still some coaching in there. I was trying to come out with a method that had like no coaching. It was just like, you do this, you'll be fine. Still needed a little bit of coaching, but hey, they did awesome. Sweet. This looks good. So we did 20 on the front, nothing on the windshield, and then 20 over the factory on the rear. Oh, that's why. There's just water there, so I kept streaking some water. Looks good. Let's open this back up. Check my insides. Yep, all good. Sweet. Nice. Whoa. See? I keep forgetting until after I'm done live. I don't know why it does this, but it does like every time now. I'd like to see that on a VW Golf Backlash. I have videos on the Golf. They're on the channel. We got shrinking videos and stuff. What time is it? Is it really 1? Is that it? It's not 2? Is my time actually? No, it is 2. Damn it. All right. I hate my computer clock. I keep changing it back to the actual time, and it keeps going an hour early, and I have no idea. Cool. Well, we're all set on this one. Let's shout out some super chats. But yeah, I got VW Golf videos on the channel. There's one in Texas. Dude, I've even changed time zones on this computer just to like trick it. And then it's fine until I reset the computer, and then it just like, it's always messed up. Oh, wait, can I look at YouTube? YouTube, are you going to tell me? Hey, there they are. Oh, I missed one. I'm so sorry. I think I missed Jonathan's super chat, but Big shout outs to the film trainer, Jonathan, and OTE. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Damn, sorry, John. Oh, I would like to see that on a VW. Oh, with the other shrinking method. Okay. I'd love to try it. Yep. I'd love to see what kind of hang-ups. Because I don't think it's going to be perfect for everything. But, so the idea is you can kind of shut off your brain and learn how to shrink pretty well. And then everybody's seen like the other ways to shrink. So there's always like a little fiddling with shrinking. So what I'd imagine is most people, the vast majority of stuff that you're going to have to shrink is going to be like the way that I showed. And then when you jump into those unique ones, you're a lot better prepared. You can mostly do that, and then there's going to be a little finessing. Still going to need to cut long and pull? Yeah, probably. So it's not going to be perfect for everything, but on the vast majority of things, you can get up and shrinking much quicker and easier, so it should be good. But yeah, I'd love to, next golf that I get, we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, I get them waiting up front. So this one's all set, so I'm going to hop off here. Thank you all for hanging out today. Hope you had fun. This one went pretty well. I've got appointments next week, and I don't have a class to prepare for it anymore. So there's going to be some more live streams for sure, some more videos. I do have to prepare for a flat glass convention thing that I have to go to. But other than that, I should be back to normal here for a little bit. But thanks for hanging out. You guys have a good one.